Welcome everyone to the IHE Standards Acceleration Lab. I'm hoping that you are now seeing my screen. My name is Keith Boone. I'm an informatics adept for Audacious Inquiry, and I'm here to basically take you through a brief explanation of what the SANER project is. And then we have a number of folks with us who are going to show you a demonstration of a lot of the different pieces of it. So thank you for joining us. So if you want to learn more about SANER or want to get involved, there's some links in the presentation here. So you can go take a look at the current draft of the IG. That's on build.fire.org. Some of the software that's been used here has been developed under open source license. There's a SANER server that is built on a version of Happy that we've used for parts of the demonstration that we've shown from Audacious Inquiry, and which Leidos has forked to build the server that they're using for portions of the demonstration that they showed. The test server that AI has is available and kept up all the time. You can find it at test.sanerproject.org, and you can look at measures, you can look at measure reports, you can look at some of the test data that's being used. And then there's also opportunities to participate in additional testing events, such as this one, or HL7 Connectathons, or even participate potentially in some of the pilots in regions that might be piloting. And if you want to learn more about that, feel free to email me, or if you would just want to learn more about the SANER IG itself and how it might be used by your organization, I'm also happy to answer any of your questions. So speaking of questions, at this time, we've got about 5 minutes left in this presentation. And we did have a question come in. Aislinn Johnston asks, how do you aggregate the bed availability and the ventilators too? And my response to that is that the way that measures are defined in the SANER implementation guide, it actually encourages measure developers to design their measures in a way that enables them to be aggregated in a geographic region, or if you have any sort of specific grouping of facilities. You can just simply add the results, the counts that are presented in the measure up in a way that's defined by the guide, and that allows you to get to a summary result for the region. So there are some principles in measure development that enable you to create measures that allow that. And that was one of the design criteria for how we put the measures together and the IG together. So Aislinn also asks, is that collected through Javari or similar applications? I'll let the folks from Esri take the Javari question. They can talk about how they integrate.
Sure. So we actually do have an extension for these applications for Javari and Web EOC. So this information can be exposed into Javari, and you have bi-directional functionality between those different applications. So if we want to dive into that, probably in more technical detail, I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah, one thing I would add on there that we were pulling the information out that was being sent across in this payload, and putting it into a hosted feature service using something called our interop extension, so that we could go in and query. We saw a lot of clients throughout the pandemic trying to query geographically to get an idea on where they had capacity, where they had issues. So we were kind of working on some of these things on a lot of different levels in a lot of different ways.
And this is Dan Pollock at NHSN. I would say in addition, NHSN is a data aggregating, analytic, and visualization system. So regardless of the platform that's used to capture the data to begin with, if it's delivered to a public health endpoint, such as NHSN, those data then can be pulled together from different sources And as Keith said, if those sources have abided by a standard to begin with, we have interoperability, and we are able then to display in various geographic levels the availability of beds, which could be calculated in terms of the number of staffed beds available at a given point in time and the number of staffed beds that are available for a patient.
All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, or if you think of a question later, feel free to email me at kboone@ainc.com. I'll go ahead and put my email address in chat here. There will be, I believe that this session's been recorded, and I believe those recordings will be made available to participants in the future, as will the slides that we have presented here.
Just to echo Keith's comments, we will be publishing this demonstration, so it'll be publicly available. So thank you all for participating today. Thank you, Keith, for pulling this track together. Hope everyone has a great day.